Geechi Gotti. Let me go down to the smaller screen and let's bring up this Hot 97 article. Shout out to Hot 97, covering battle rap and having their involvement with battle rap at times, good and bad. Battle rapper Geechi Gotti pleads guilty in Ohio while new indictment looms. Oh, I didn't know this piece. What's that gonna be about? This article was yesterday. What is that? Hold on, real shit. What is this? New indictment looms? What is that? They ain't tell me that online. All right, battle rapper Geechi Gotti, whose real name pleaded guilty in Ohio to aggravated drug possession and failure to comply with a police order. Gotti entered the pleas August 13th in connection with a February traffic stop and alleged pharmaceutical theft. Under the agreement, prosecutors amended one count to a third-degree felony and dismissed 3 other counts. Geechi received consecutive 12 months. Would have been nicer, of course, if they was running concurrent, but concurrent means that multiple convicted charges and they have their own terms as far as time that you get sentenced for them. And if they're running concurrent, you do them both at the same time. If they run consecutive, consecutive back to back, so to speak. So consecutive 12-month sentences totaling 24 months. He had spent about 6.5 months in custody before sentencing, leaving roughly 17 to 18 months remaining. His remaining time could decrease through good behavior. That would be dope too. And they got the tooth up here putting up some paperwork. I glanced it earlier on Twitter, and pretty much all of the typed out text, I believe, is just formal, like it's on everybody's paperwork, everybody's form, so to speak. And then there's a couple pieces in here that you see the written stuff, and that's, I believe, uh, specific to his plea. So counts 1 and 5 remain. One says aggravated possession of drugs, and it looks like it's classified as a F3. Is that a felony 3? And then count 5, failure to comply. That's when he was, I believe, running on camera, try to get in the way. And not even just the running, even them pulling off from the cops and doing the race in the car too, right? Then they say that they had to have the spikes thrown under the car. And that's F4. Okay. So when we get rid of this and we go back to the arrest, you see this one right here is February 15, 2026. Geechi Gotti arrested after traffic stop reveals 3,000 stolen pills. Of course, the type of drugs, the amount of drugs, and the state of the charges, that all varies what you're possibly facing. Battle rapper Geechi Gotti has been arrested in Ohio after being found with thousands of stolen opioids, pills, and there's even other factors that we don't know about. He had co-defendants, right? He wasn't the only one in the car. He wasn't the only one that went down for this. You never know if somebody here, I'm going to claim this, and I'm going to take the pills. You just never know how some of that stuff went, and we don't have any of that information. But just seeing 3,000 opioids, we don't have the details to just jump and say, well, everybody jump online and start doing math to that. It doesn't work that way. There's a lot of stuff going on legally. And then on top of that, this is not a trial that we're talking, people. He took a plea. All right. Police reportedly seized Vicodin, morphine, oxycodone, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I believe these are his other co-defendants, right? So a total of 4 folks. Actually, we've seen this guy right here on videos with him before. They started going back and digging in the crates and putting all this old stuff on camera, trying to connect the dots, doing what the internet does. In the background, I have pulled up some stuff that's circumstantial to him getting this 24 minus what he's already served, and then possibly even good behavior. So people's looking at it like, heck, if lucky, best case scenario, maybe another 12 months and he's back home. But the key new information is that August 13th plea reportedly amended count 1 down to a third degree felony. So when we saw F3, it was a third degree. So count 2, 3, and 4 were dismissed. He received 12 months on the amended drug count, 12 months for the failure to comply. Damn, that sucks to read. Like, what if it was just the 12 months for the drug plea, and then the failure to comply wasn't there? Well, then would they make him a different plea offer? I mean, who knows? You don't know. But imagine it was just that 12 that he was going to end up getting an offer for. Fucking dying for laughing at Keefe D or some shit. And then, at that point, he had served 6.5, and then plus good behavior. For all we know, he would have been back home in anywhere from 3 to 6 months right now. But yeah, that failure to comply, they tried. They tried, but all right, the original charges, count one was drug possession, which was amended to, this is in the plea, F3. Okay, in the third degree. That's what grabbed the first 12 months. Then you had a drug possession count 2 that was dismissed in this plea deal. He had a drug possession count 3 that was also dismissed in this plea deal. He had a drug possession count 4 that was also dismissed in this plea deal. The failure to comply, guilty, 12 months. 12 months on that one. So a total sentence of 24. That's how they came down to everything, okay? I see people online saying shout out to Geechi on that one. And I guess just from the nature of what it looked like, considering his priors, because I believe, I could be wrong, I do believe that he was convicted prior for something similar or relevant, right? And all that type of stuff is what the judge looks at, So him already having priors, there was talks of, will he be connected to other, him and his boys, and then you expose yourself to those other counts that got thrown out, those other 3 drug possession charges. So you get into a trial like that, and they feel like they got you red-handed with the drugs in possession, the video, the evading, the crowbar going out the window, or maybe print, or who knows, all types of stuff. You flying in, the flights, they being on you, tracking, all that type of stuff. You go to trial, and then next thing you know, you're walking away with much more than 12 or 24 months. So I guess I'll take the same position of what I've been seeing online after we read through those brief details, that it looked ugly, and without speaking to a lawyer, it's very possible that he got the best outcome possible. That might, without speaking to a lawyer, we can take those all 5 original counts and we can take them into Ohio. Then we could try to take, based on the amount of drugs and opioids, assuming, like, let's say if they were all placed on him, right? And try to add up the time that could carry the ranges for all 5. And let's say it would have showed us something like, I don't know, 10 to 20, in a range before he gets the sentencing, if convicted of all counts. Even then, once again, we would say, yeah, pleading out to 24 sounds like a nice deal, right? If you're sitting in there, you don't want to do a weekend, but they come to you, and you've already been in there for 6.5 months, and they're just like, yo, you might be able to get out a year and a half from now, or you can go to trial and you can try to beat this. I think a lot of people would have chose to do what Geechi did, probably including me. Like, I don't ever want to be in that shoes. I have to make that decision for myself, but it sounds like a preferable outcome for Geechi. So, based on what we're seeing, shout out to Geechi. Shout out to Geechi's family. Shout out to all of Geechi's friends. Shout out to all of Geechi's fans. We will see Geechi before we know it. Doesn't even feel like 6.5 months has passed. Time flies. I'm not trying to diminish that man in there, sitting in there under those conditions, sitting in prison right now. But for us being out here, going regular day-to-day life, it might be before we realize it. As time really flies sometimes. And, Geechi, even from a battle rap standpoint, I think a year and a half from now, or possibly even better, he will get the opportunity to come into a space where there's still things going on. Like even if battle rap remains like where it is right now, which is like, all right, we're not in our heyday, but there's opportunity there. And when you're coming home from prison, there's even that much more opportunity. I'm not trying to say that, oh, as soon as he comes home, that from that point for the next 10 years, his career is set. He's gonna have to grind like any other man. He's have to get his affairs in order, his family in order. Battle rap is not necessarily something that's going to be your saving grace. Sue Surf has been home how long, right? I don't know what battle rap check he's collecting, so but there's gonna be some opportunities out there for Geechee. It's better than what some people come home to. Some people come home to nothing. Geechee still has a very big name in battle rap. It'll be heightened when he comes home. He'll even have probably some opportunities to maybe do some music, some paid interviews. And you can't ask for more, considering what he actually was involved in when he got locked up. That's somebody that was needing that type of opportunity. So we pray Geechee comes home safe, fast, and to as many opportunities as possible. Once again, salute and shout out to Geechi Gotti.